Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Now here's your host, Larry Ray.
And it's calling you.
All right, good Saturday morning, talking outdoors as we do every Saturday morning, starting our 24th year right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Good morning to all you good folks out there on AM 790. This is the third Saturday, and that means Frank Barton. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning,
A round of applause for Frank. And we have a new producer this morning.
Oh, geez.
Breaking in the new producer, Brad Carson. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning to you guys. How you doing?
Talking outdoors, Brad.
Excellent.
Is filling in for Shelby McCall, who's out with a little illness, and we appreciate Brad stepping in on this September the 16th and filling in for Shelby. Hope she gets well and back in the groove next week. But Brad will handle all the things. And Frank, I know you've been busy. A lot of retriever stuff going on right now. Give an update on what's going on.
Well, the weather has broken. We've gotten nice, cool mornings.
Yes, we do.
So we're able to get long days of training in now. We don't have to wait until, a lot of times we have to wait until later in September, but we're in good shape right now. So
in fact, you went to Fayetteville, you said. God's country here recently.
Hunt test season has opened up. I was in Fayetteville last weekend and had some success.
You didn't tell me that.
Oh, yeah, I had a little bit of success.
Okay.
So,
which dog did good?
Hershey did.
Hershey did good.
Hershey did good. Goose,
all right.
Goose struggled a little bit, but
Hershey came through.
That's what happened. So
yeah.
My wife says that she thinks that they sit in the truck and they decide, you do good this time. I'm going to sit this one out.
Well, they swap out then.
Swap out. Yeah.
Okay.
I told her, honey, I don't think
they don't work like that, do they?
That way.
But you're getting ready now, because I know Frank next month will be heading to Thomasville, Georgia. We figured it out. He will be here for his regular slot in October, but then he'll be heading to Thomasville, Georgia for the Master Nationals, which now has how many dogs?
1,220 dogs.
1,220 dogs.
It will be the largest performance event in the history of the American Kennel Club.
Of the American Kennel Club. Dog shows and everything.
Performance events.
Performance events.
Dog shows.
Over 1,200 dogs.
Over 1,200.
Spread over 3 weeks, 10 days? What is it now?
It will take us 10 days.
And you're the book. I don't want to say you're the bookmaker, but you put the book. Yeah,
I'm the event secretary.
You are the event secretary.
I
know every dog's name.
Just about.
Don't you? Yeah. So you see that and put them all together, and realize that I don't know how you're gonna. You were in Oregon, Idaho last year, right?
Oregon last year, Oregon. Idaho the year before that.
And now you're in Thomasville, Georgia.
Right, and we'll be in Kentucky next year. Paducah. Right up the road.
What do you know, Frank? You can go up there. If you still got your motorbike, you can take your bike up there.
It'll be the easiest one I've ever had to go to.
It will. Well, St. Louis was, you've been to St. Louis, too.
Yeah, St. Louis was 4.5 hours. This one will be 3.
3 hours, but over 1,200 dogs. So, Frank, we'll talk with Frank today. We got a jam-packed show. Wally Marshall, yes, we're going to have the Crappie, Mr. Crappie himself on because he's got a big event coming up down in Alabama. And we're going to talk to Wally Peanut Quan, not to be confused with his brother Harris, who makes his money fixing cars. Peanut makes his money. I don't know what he makes his money doing, but he's got a lot of fishing things going on. John Berry, we're hoping to hook up with John. Not sure. John just retired, I understand, about a month ago as a guide over in Cotter, Arkansas. I hope to talk to John or maybe his wife Lori. And we're going to get you an update. This just came in. Jeremy Dennison from the TWRA is going to talk about next weekend's opening antler archery season for deer in Tennessee. And then it's coming up next weekend, the World Championship of Catfishing coming up out of Pickwick Lake over there. And we're going to talk to J.R. Sweat about that. And with a name like that, I don't know how you get through July and August with a name like Sweat. He's a pretty cool guy for a name like Sweat. But a lot of fun today with Brad filling in and everything and looking forward to it. And you were telling me that these are the times that you really get prepared for your season. I know a lot of my retriever friends, or bird dog friends, are out and about, maybe in the prairies and things along that line. But you guys, you train most of the summer, right?
We'll try and train all summer long. We don't get as much done. We end up doing a lot of water work, but even the water work can be difficult in the summer because.
Explain what water work means.
Well, you have on your retrievers you have work that you do on land. It just involves land work,
yes.
landmarks, and then you got water work, which is that normally separates what happens with dogs. And most of us in the Mid-South train our dogs for duck hunting, so water is extremely important. But the problem with water when you're doing your water work in the summer is the water temperatures can get so high.
Yeah.
That a dog swimming, it may be in the water, but it's not really cool.
Yeah.
And the warm water is completely surrounding them. And so in some cases, water work can be more difficult than the land work.
Well, you mentioned
because they can stress out quicker.
You mentioned the magic word, though. I didn't know how long it would take you to say duck hunting in the show today, and you did come up with it because that's always on your mind, I know. And duck hunting is not that far away. In fact, I was just looking the other day. I mean, we've already had the early wood duck season been going on up at Reelfoot and things like that. Have you completed? Are you ready? Are you?
I still have some work to do on my duck holes. Yes, I still have. But we still have some clearing to do to open up some duck holes and get them fully prepared.
What is the time limit on that you normally?
Well, you can do it up until you start getting too much rain, and you can't.
Well, you had a lot of rain. You had a lot of rain in July.
Typically, October is one of the driest months here in the Mid-South.
Right. Yeah.
So I can do a lot of work on my duck holes in October, and then we plug up all the culverts and hope the beavers do their job, and we get some rain, and then we just hope that we get enough rain in early November to where we can have duck hunting in opening day.
Well, how do you get your dogs ready when they're in retriever season, and you get them ready for duck season? It's entirely different things. You do duck hunt with Hershey.
That's all for us that do the hunt test. For the most part, that's the reason why we do them to get our dogs because they're all duck dogs.
They are duck dogs, aren't they?
Ultimately, that's what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do now is in a hunt test in our training, we try and simulate what you would see in a typical day of duck hunting. Now, the word simulate can be interpreted all different kinds.
Well, when you got 1,200 dogs doing that in Thomasville, they must have an unbelievable facility down there.
Thomasville's got it is a mecca for dog training.
It is, isn't it?
There's a lot of professional trainers that
bird dog trainers too
that winter in Thomasville. Thomasville, that area does. They do a lot of
quail hunts,
a lot of quail hunts, and a lot of the old plantations there are set up that they do that as that's a guided service, and people paid.
They do, yeah. And the plantations are down there.
The interesting thing about that is, if you've ever been on one of those,
yes,
the bird dogs are out on the ground, and they're doing all the work.
Yes, they are.
The retrievers, the labs, they ride in the wagon.
They ride in the wagon.
they ride in the wagon, and they just sitting there looking around, and they learn real quick. Then when those other dogs that are running around, when all of a sudden they stop and get real still,
yes,
then they know they're fixing to get some action.
It's time for them,
and they'll get excited, and they'll watch those other dogs, and they'll learn real quick. I don't really know exactly what's going to happen, but I know those dogs over there are going to be close to it, whatever it is.
And that's Frank Barton is in with us. And really, next month, I really want to talk about the field tests themselves, because what actually goes on at Thomasville when we get you back in the studio next month, because everybody can understand you qualify. The dog has to qualify Right. I mean,
During the year, they're running weekend tests, and they have to pass six
6 tests.
Six
Okay.
weekend tests. So 6 weekends. Most of the time, there's one weekend. There's one test a weekend. Sometimes there are two, but most of the time.
So now
there's one.
both of your dogs have they both qualified?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I thought they had.
they've been qualified.
They've been qualified because I know that is Hope still.
Hope is still. We're still working on Hope.
There's still hope for Hope?
Somebody asked me. I said, "You got 3 dogs in that truck?" And I said, "Well, I got 2 1/4."
2 1/4.
And
Well, that's why you named her Hope. You know.
I named her Hope for a different reason.
Oh, well, we won't get into that.
Which was going on in my life right then. But but anyway, but I have 3 other ones that we're starting to work on, and that is Maverick
and
Ja.
And Ja. You
And
got a
Ja.
dog named Ja?
Got
Hear
a
that?
dog named Ja.
Brand?
And
All right.
another,
The
and another
basketball?
dog. And another dog named Jitty.
Jitty.
Oh, wow.
All right. That's a trivia question for Nate. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. See if we can hook up with Wally Marshall. We'll be right back.